If you've just tuned in this morning, where have you been? This is the JVS show. I'm Tim Wheeler, sitting in for Jonathan Vernon-Smith all this week. And on this hour of the programme, last Christmas Eve, music producer Charles Foskett was diagnosed with bowel cancer at the Luton and Dunstable Hospital. It was the start of 3 months wondering whether or not he was going to live or die. On October the 15th, to give something back to those who helped him, Charles has organised a massive concert to raise money for the Macmillan Cancer Unit at the L&D, and I'm pleased to say that Charles Foskett from Dunstable joined us in the studio now. Welcome, Charles.
And thank you very much for having me.
Pleasure. Take us back to Christmas Eve. What actually happened?
I had various tests at the L&D and was diagnosed with bowel cancer. Which was the biggest shock of my life.
Why did you end up in hospital, though? How did you know you had to go?
I know my own body, I guess, and knew something was different for quite some time.
Had you always been very healthy?
Yeah, pretty much as fit as a fiddle. I'd been, a strict vegetarian since 1971, and yeah, pretty much healthy, but it's in the genes. Always knew it would come my way.
So other members of your family?
Yeah, my mother's family just all checked out at kind of middle age with it, apart from two of the family who were non-drinking, non-smoking, meditating, guys who, I think my Uncle Tom lived till he was in his 80s. Then he died falling off a ladder fixing a roof.
Oh.
But he was the clean living.
The clean living one, and he ended up falling off a ladder.
The clean living one, the canary collector, and the rest of them all went. There was 3 sisters and three out of 5 brothers all went with it. But that was way back in the 1950s.
But you said you kept yourself healthy. You've been a vegetarian. Had you stayed away from the drink and the fags and all that business as well, or had those vices been in your life?
No, of course not. No.
I'm only saying because you're a music producer, and so I think we all assume probably bits and bobs like that were in your life.
Of course, yeah. Sex, drugs and rock and roll was compulsory, wasn't it?
Absolutely.
That was long before your time. You weren't even an embryo sort of last week.
No. I'm older than I look, actually. Older than I look. So you went into hospital and you knew there was something wrong in your body. What was it like when they told you what was actually happening?
Oh, well, I was sedated. And I was watching the sigmoidoscopy, which is kind of like half a colonoscopy. It's a camera that goes up your bum.
What, you watch it on a screen?
And you can watch it on a screen. You can watch it digitally, or you can watch it, real kind of life jobby. You should try it sometime. It
sounds fascinating.
Yes.
Did you find it an interesting experience, or you concentrated?
Well, as I say, I was sedated. The first one I had was a couple of years previous to that, and that was quite interesting because the sedation hadn't kicked in till after the whole thing was over, and I watched the whole thing. And at that point, I was as clean as a whistle, I was told, and then this one, the sedation kicked in quite straight away. Yeah. And I could see this great, horrible, black-looking alien in there, but because you're kind of very, very woozy, you're thinking, what planet am I on? And then I got the news that I had a tumour, which I didn't really take in. It kind of dawned on me over the next 24 hours, which was Christmas Eve. And it was the worst Christmas in the history of Foskett's, I guess, but which was very weird. The Christmas Day, the Boxing Day, being with all the family and feeling that I'm different from everybody else now, and I didn't want to feel different from everyone else. I wanted to be the same as them, and everyone looking at me and staring at me very intensely, and my mother-in-law taking sort of 1 million photographs of me on Christmas morning with my children opening presents and all of that, just in case I wasn't going to be there to photograph 5 minutes later.
Had you told everyone?
No. I left that up to other people in the family. I mean, after the Christmas Day and Boxing Day and the family thing, went by, it was, anything we can do to help you, and anything we can do to help you, and of course you think, well, I don't think there is, because immediately you're coming from my generation. You immediately think you're looking at death straight away, because in the 1950s, when my mother croaked, which was sort of middle 50s, I was just I was 7. I remember her being in hospital, and they used to open you up there and go, oh my God, and just stitch you back up and send you home with a book.
Send you home, yeah.
Send you home, yeah. Which is, and of course, treatments have moved on in leaps and bounds, and light years ahead now, half a century later. But because I couldn't actually say the word until recently. I couldn't bring myself to say the word. The letter C used to freak me out. If I was driving along the road, when you saw those white lettering, keep clear, I wouldn't drive over the C. That was my OCD kicking in with lots of other strange abnormalities.
Did you think you were on your way out?
Well, of course, yeah. I mean, you can't really suss the whole situation until it sort of happens to you. But until I got my all the tests, the CT scans and the MRI scans and this scans and that scans and blood tests and needles stuck in all over the place, and then you find out where you are, and that takes a while. And of course the NHS guidelines from diagnosis to operation is about 31 days or something, and I just think the NHS and the whole hospital thing's in trouble in this country, because I was kind of slated for 80-something days before I could get to an operation, and of course my wife was going nuts and really fighting my corner, and we brought in Andrew. I never pronounce his second name. Sellus, the local MP,
right,
to write a few letters and so forth, and we got it moved forward about a month, which was great. But during that time, it was kind of like the worst time, and various other colonoscopies I got, and of course you get a colonoscopy which goes right round the bowel, right down to the valve of the intestine, which is down beside your appendix.
Yes.
And obviously there was nothing else happening there, so that was a kind of huge relief, which every step of the way, everything, you just wanted to be a positive, and of course it was.
Did you have to have radio or chemotherapy at all?
No, I didn't. No, I was very blessed. I was stage 3, which is not great. It had eaten through the muscle and was going through the bowel wall, but it didn't get through the bowel wall. It didn't get into the lymph nodes. But until I got my results of the biopsies, which are the bits that they send off after they take them out of you, that takes weeks as well. So until you get your results, you don't know where you are, what you're looking at. So I was always just psyching myself up for the worst, thinking, oh yeah, I'm into 6 months, a year of chemo. I've heard all about that, and since planning this concert, this my way of putting singing back together, which we're doing with Rock Chorus, which is our choir, who incidentally have been incredibly supportive of me over that time. Wonderful, lots of cuddles, lots of people giving me a lift. Until you get the results, you don't know where you are and what you're looking at. How
did you cope with that weight? Did you put life on hold psychologically?
Well, you kind of you knock everything into order very, very quickly. It took a couple of weeks to get my head around it. I remember thinking, I'm going to die, and it was awful. I got quite depressed, and I spent quite a few hours lying in bed throughout the day, and hearing my daughter, my 12-year-old daughter, out in the hallway, talking to Mum, saying, "Is Daddy dying? Is Daddy dying?" That was just awful. Then she'd cuddle up in bed with me and say, "Daddy, I love you, and are you dying?" And I went, "Of course not. No, I'm just having tests." So we told our son, who was 16 at the time, who just immediately said, "No, you're going to be fine." Like, I remember being his age and thinking everything was going to be fine anyway.
I remember saying the same to my dad when he was diagnosed with cancer. I think the first thing I said was, "Listen, you'll be fine."
Did he make it?
You'll be fine. Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah, well, lots of people, you automatically kind of look on the bright side and you give out the positives, whether it's not knowing what's going to happen. I prayed a lot. I'm not a religious man. I don't kind of sign up for any sort of organisation or anything, but I prayed a lot. I've used prayer through my life on various occasions, and I do that because it works.
What were you asking for or hoping for?
Oh, just that I'll remain standing on my feet and breathing, I'd go out at midnight in January, sort of stand in the garden and kind of look at my own breath, and I remember just standing there freezing my nuts off in the garden, just kind of, my bottom off in the garden and all the other parts, and just thinking this is insane, and everybody who's in the right mind would be tucked up in bed now or sitting beside the fire. Just the feeling of actually standing there for about 10 minutes shivering made me feel alive, and I thought I want to do this tomorrow night, and I did it tomorrow night and the following night, and over a period of getting my head round it for the couple of weeks, I thought I'll email Reg. Reg is a friend I've had for donkey's years. Great songwriter, great lyricist, written songs for a lot of big artists over the years. He lives in Foskett, and we haven't seen each other in I don't know, it feels like 100 years, but we communicate. And I typed out a email which was, pages. Well, there's no pages on an email, but endless. And I just got an email back from Reg saying, "Forgive the world for all its sins." And I went,
something.
And so I wrote another one, and I got another one back saying, "Forgive the world for all its sins. Love, Reg, kiss, kiss." And I thought, I can't believe this, and then I thought about that, and literally within 24 hours I had done just that. I'd forgiven the world for all its sins, which sounds kind of real bullshitty, but to the real... sorry.
No, apologies to anyone who's offended.
My Geordie language.
Do you think life... No one wants cancer, but do you think life is somehow more precious now because you've been through that?
Well, you change your whole outlook. As I said, I forgave the world for all its sins. I just thought back of it, everybody who'd kind of, dropped a nasty on me from a great height over the last, 60-something years. And of course, it's all right there in the back of your head somewhere, and you think about these things at times. You think, I could get the good guys round and kneecap that person for whatever they did at that time. And you go through all this very rapidly, and the sense of freedom you get is quite amazing. So that happened pretty much immediately through Reg's email, and of course you think. Again, over decades and decades of, with me being in the music business, the me career, all about me and getting up that next rung on the ladder. Like you're sitting here in the BBC, you've got your career here, you're doing your gig, and it's...
For now.
And next week you'll have a paper round.
Probably, yes.
If you're not lucky. And it's, this is what you're thinking about, and you wake up in the morning and think, I better, better look cool and... brush behind my teeth, but wash behind my ears, and brush behind my teeth and wash my ears.
You have a self-focus. You concentrate on what you're trying to achieve.
It's all completely immaterial, and it all wanes into total insignificance, all of it, and all that matters is what's precious, and what is usually precious is the things that from day to day we completely ignore, like... smelling the roses is the term. I sat in my living room and I could hear my two kids upstairs, screaming and shouting at each other, whining each other like they do. And normally you'd be hollering upstairs, "Shut up!" and and come down here in the living room and pick your shoes up and pick this stuff up. And there's crisp packets on the table, and there's you've spilt this and that. And I remember sitting there listening to them. sitting in my living room looking at, the odd shoe and the crisp packet on the table and this, that, and the other, thinking, this is wonderful. I love this. I love this more than anything. Everything else is not important.
Well, I can listen to you for hours. I have to say,
don't do that.
No, I can.
You'll go insane.
You've got such a positive attitude on life.
Well, my cup's always been half full, always.
You've got the position now, the great position of, you've forged a very successful career, and you've got the benefit now of being able to give something back because of all that work you've put in and the success you've had. I know you want to give something back. You are giving something back. And very shortly after the news, we'll be looking at exactly what you are doing now. And also like to find out about how you ended up working with all these wonderful people I'm looking at on this list.
Oh, it's all lies.
No.
Don't believe
Is
all
it
that.
really lies?
It's
No,
all lies.
come on.
I saw the woman downstairs writing it out as I came in.
Kim Wilde, Bill Oddie. We'll go through this list. We'll find out how you work with all these people, and also we're going to play some music that I know is very important to you, but we'll introduce that very shortly.
BBC Three Counties Radio. Tim Wheeler.
On the BBC in Beds, Hearts and Bucks.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Yes, you're listening to the JVS show. I'm Tim Wheeler, sitting in for Jonathan. I'm joined in the studio by a music producer from Dunstable, Charles Foskett, who has battled cancer. You're now clear, aren't you, Charles?
No, I'm not. No.
Are you not quite?
Well, no, I'm in what you call remission.
Okay.
I'm on a programme for 5 years. If I make the 5 years, I'll be clear. But they're now looking at making that 5 years, 10 years. We don't know.
Okay.
That's the deal.
But you're going in the right direction.
There's no cancer left in my system at the moment.
Now, you've had a hugely successful career as a music producer. We're going to be touching on that very shortly after the news, but I know we're going to play a track on the programme now. Can you introduce this piece of music and why it's so special to you?
Yes, well, this song was originally written for the Greek Olympics donkeys years ago, and it was commissioned, and my wife, the singer and songwriter Lauren Field, pretty much wrote the whole thing. I maybe wrote part of the title, but it didn't make the Greek Olympics because Vangelis got the job, but we thought we'll do it for the British Olympics. Now, Rock Chorus, www.rock-chorus.com, our local community choir, I just thought this would be a great song to produce with Rock Chorus, so we recorded this last year with Rock Chorus. This is Rock Chorus performing This Is Our Time. The song itself lyrically lends itself perfectly to winning the game, fighting your corner, which is what you do as a cancer survivor.
Nothing beats the real elation coming This is the moment when all our worlds collide. This is our day, this is our time.
That's the rock chorus singing This Is Our Time on BBC Three Counties Radio. Coming up shortly, I'll continue our conversation with Charles Foskett, very successful music producer from Dunstable. But in the meantime, let's find out what's happening on the roads across Beds, Herts and Bucks.
Tim Wheeler
On the BBC in Beds, Herts and Bucks.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
Welcome along to the JVS show. I'm Tim Wheeler, sitting in for Jonathan Vernon-Smith till Friday. Jonathan's off on his holidays to Frigliana again. Yes, again. Now, in the studio with me today is Charles Foskett. Charles is a music producer from Dunstable, and last Christmas Eve was diagnosed with bowel cancer at the Luton and Dunstable Hospital. It was the start of a 3-month period, wondering whether or not he was going to live or die. I'm delighted to say that, Charles, you are, just checking, you're still with us. Still going on strong.
I think so.
You are. It's been lovely hearing about your passion for life, I suppose, that you've developed. I know it's horrific circumstances to go through what you've gone through, but it seems to have given you such an amazing attitude to wanting to give something back. And that's really a question I want to ask today, is if you're listening now and something's happened to you that's made you realise, I really want to give something back. What was it and what led you to that decision? Come on, you can share your story with the listeners and with Charles. 08459 455 555. Just before the news, we heard a track from Rock Chorus. I understand it's your wife who's she founded the Rock Chorus.
She's the founder and the choral arranger and choir leader, yeah. And
they must benefit from your great experience in the music industry. I'm looking at a list of all the people that you've worked with, and it is an amazing list, and the Bee Gees are on there, and Cliff Richard, Ringo Starr. How did you become a music producer with the...
I kind of morphed from, buying a friend's guitar at school because he got the girls. I bought his guitar off him. And he still got the girls, so I learned to play the guitar. And then I got a gig, and then I was making more on a Friday and Saturday night than I was making all week as a trainee printer or whatever I was doing at the time. And then through touring all over the place, we started making records and getting record deals and so forth. And then through spending, yonks in recording studios, that interested me a lot, all the lights and buttons, and became more of a session musician. And then through doing lots of sessions, working with other producers, it was kind of like a natural kind of move, really. I remember very early 1980 being on a national tour which was about 9 weeks long with about 4 nights off, and we ended up all travelling in separate vehicles because we hated each other. And I thought, okay, I'm going to buy a tape recorder, and that was it, really.
So you bought a tape recorder so you didn't have to perform with other musicians?
Yeah, I could play everything myself, very badly.
What do you think when you see people on programmes like The X Factor? Because it sounds like your experience in getting into music was radically different.
Well, I come from a different time warp. X Factor. What's the question? What is the X Factor? The X Factor is television. Nothing to do with music. You do get the odd exceptional, talented singer on there. But it mainly is television. It's about watching a screen and watching a lot of people making fools of themselves and having one or two people with the right makeup and hairstyles telling them what they should be and what they shouldn't be, and
You're not a fan?
Not really. No.
No. Was it hard for you to become successful in the music industry?
It is today. I'd hate to be in anyone's shoes today trying to make it, because it's changed through. I mean, the digital era now has made it. It's incredibly interesting. Everybody can buy a computer with a music package on and make a half decent noise, and consequently, there's lots of young guys buying a microphone and a couple of instruments and a computer with a music package and calling themselves songwriters and record producers and all the rest of it. And there's millions of them all on YouTube or MyTube or whatever it is, and it's not doing anything for anyone. It's not getting anyone anywhere. But of course, because of the digital domain, it's made music free. So how do the record companies sell music? It's all changed. There is ways and means of actually getting out there and doing it and making it happen, but it doesn't bear any resemblance of how it ever used to be. And so the question being, was it easy for me? Well, yeah, I mean, it was easy from my first gig. I stood on stage in Jumble Sale, believe it or not, and made 10 bob. And ever since then, I thought, yeah, that's a good way to do it.
Can you remember what you sang? Were you performing? Were you singing?
Yeah, no. Me sing? You don't want to hear me sing. Although you cut that This Is Our Time by Rock Chorus, www.rock-chorus.com, in half, so maybe I should sing the rest of it for you.
Perhaps before, you can sing us out. You can sing us out.
No, you don't want to hear that.
You bought a tape recorder and you said you didn't want to be on tour with other musicians, you wanted to be on your own writing everything. Did you realise instantly that you could write great songs, or did it take time?
No, I still have trouble writing my own name. My wife is a great songwriter. She's a great lyricist. And I'm not talking about your disposable sort of pop and stuff. She is a very, very good lyricist, great melody writer. I write a good melody. I come up with a good hook. I'm good at arranging and producing. I'm good at directing. I'm good at kind of musical directing, although I don't know a crotchet from a quaver. I'm good at kind of knocking people's heads together and making them do the right thing.
Are you a scary producer to work with?
I don't know. You'll have to ask the artist.
Well, let's talk about the artist, because I haven't
made anyone cry yet.
Good. It's a good start. There's still time on this programme.
Yes.
There are some big names. I mean, the ones I'm going to pick out, the people that everyone has heard of, people like Robin Gibb from the Bee Gees, like Nick Kershaw as well, Ringo Starr. I think everyone listening will know Ringo Starr. There are many producers out there. How did you become the person that was with these great stars?
Through having a recording studio. I had a recording studio in the early 80s. We were set up in a place called, I can't remember the actual yard, something yard in Yeldham Road in Hammersmith, and there was a bunch of different artists there. Yes had the place next door. Thomas Dolby was actually through the wall from us in our studio.
Not everyone's heard of Thomas.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan.
You're a Tom Dolby fan.
I'm a Tom Dolby fan. Yeah,
I used to go and nick all his gear.
Really?
Well, of course, and use his gear, and he could never find it. Every time he wanted to do a session, he'd be knocking on our door to get his gear back. There was a whole bunch of people. It was a happening.
It's a really busy hub of great talent.
Yeah, there's lots of that. It still goes on. So through that, we did all kinds of media, commercial work. We did adverts for, I don't know, you name it, I can't remember. Tons of them now. Guinness, Max Factor. I can't remember. Just lots of adverts for telly and radio, and of course we were writing songs and doing demos for record companies, and we just got kind of to work with artists. I think Ritz Records was one of the first, which was a British-based Irish record label. Their big artist was Daniel O'Donnell. The Singing Blowwave was his nickname, and
no comment.
Nothing like your hairstyle, young chap.
Well, this is a classic 1950s quiff.
Is it?
Yeah, that's
All
what
right.
it's what it's meant to be. Anyway, carry on.
So have you got the ice blue jeans, the drain pipes, and the wedges, the brothel creepers?
No.
No.
No, I've never. I would like some, though. I would like
You
some.
would like some?
I'm slowly morphing into a character from Mad Men.
I've got an old pair kicking about. They're very smelly.
Really?
You can have them if you want.
If they can be washed, I'll have them.
Yes.
We'll talk about this off air. So you'd started to get in a group, I suppose, where it's almost like a social network of people, of talented people.
Yeah, it's always down to who you know and networking, and it really is always networking, and my networking has ended up internationally, all over the world. And, up till a year or two ago, before we started Rock Chorus, I was on a flight flying off, I don't know, just everywhere, to Austin, Texas, to all over Europe, to New York, Chicago, Nashville.
Is it as good as it sounds? Because it does sound great.
What, flying about?
Flying about, being with famous people, creating music. It sounds wonderful.
We all end up in an airport, not knowing where we are, then in a hotel, ready to fall over and have a good old kip. Yeah, that's really sexy. It's very, very hard work. I went up an octave there. It's very, very hard work.
But fun work.
It's very well. I've always loved it. I've been always lucky in kind of pushing ahead enough to be able to do what I do.
You say you were lucky. Were there moments you can think of, a big break, a big artist you work with that totally changed your career?
Yeah, one very much so.
Who was that?
Rock Chorus. Why are you laughing?
Listen.
Why are you laughing?
No, I know Rock Chorus has changed your life, and we're going to get to that because that's what we're here to talk about. But I want to know about...
Sorry, I have to plug this.
I know, we can plug it, but there are so
We're
many...
rehearsing tonight in Dunstable. Icknield
I know, I've already said I'm going to be there.
Street,
I'm
8
going to
o'clock.
be there.
You're going to be there?
I promise you I'm going to be there. But there are lots of people listening that I think would love to be able to... I mean, people that aren't... have never worked in music, but how do you come to work with these people? What is it?
Well, I had an office in EMI. I was in with the in crowd and invited to all the parties, and it's just a networking thing. And it's you get a call. Do you want to do a recording with so and so? And you go, oh yeah, great, fantastic, because you've heard his last single, and it's Frankie Goes to Hollywood, and he's going, yeah, relax, don't do it, and he's jumping around the boxing ring, and you've seen the video. And then you get to work with the artist, and then you realise how good a producer you have to be to match up with Trevor Horn, or to match up with Quincy Jones, or to match up with all these people. But it's literally being in with the right crowd. It's networking. It always is.
What's your favourite song that you've produced?
Oh, crikey. Masses of them. Probably a Lauren Field song.
Mm-hmm. Your wife.
Yeah, because I've probably done more with her than any other artist, and written and co-written. And again, see, I'm very much a song guy. First and foremost, it's about the song. Everything lives or dies or stands or falls on the strength of the song. And there's nothing else unless you're doing instrumental music. And that's very exciting if you're into that. But I just love a song. I like the emotion of a voice. I like it coming from the heart. I like feeling. I just love soul, and I don't mean soul music. I mean just songs delivered with soul, and and you can say, oh yeah, Bob Dylan was a soul singer, and a lot of people go, Bob Dylan, he can't sing for.
He can sing like
it's all sharp, it's all up there.
Yeah.
And
some people like that.
And you got to like the delivery, but just great songs, fantastic songs.
I know since the illness that you've had, you have become very focused on doing things for other people.
Yes.
And you're not focusing on yourself.
No.
When you were at the kind of, starting to become a very successful music producer, were you living a bit of a hedonistic lifestyle, and was the focus very much on me, my success?
Well,
my
it
career?
is with all of them, very much so. Of course, it is. You're up there in the ring fighting. You're fighting your corner, which is all what this is our time is about. But you are fighting your corner. You want to win the game. Nothing more to it. That's your career. In whatever you do, whether you're a lawyer, you want to become the best lawyer, or you're a whatever, it's the same same gig, you know. So it is about me, 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 me.
Do you think if you hadn't have had this very, very serious illness, do you think you would have still come to the same realisation, perhaps through your family, for your children, that I need to give something back?
Well, I think it depends on what type of person you are. And, you know, I know people who have survived cancer and are down the pub getting probably drunk every night and smoking, you know, 1,000 cigarettes a day and sort of, you know, abusing themselves and, you know, waiting for a new liver. And it depends on the type of person you are. Having cancer and surviving it up to this point, it really has changed my whole outlook on life, my whole values, how to evaluate everything.
Do you look back and worry that you were a selfish person at any time of your...
Yeah, we're all selfish. The human race is selfish, and that, you know, we're living in the most vacuous, awful time that's ever been. You know, it's full of emptiness. Everyone's trying to fill their own hole with, yeah, this or that, or a career, a car, a new, I don't know, whatever's advertised. They go and work, work around the clock to make as much dosh as possible to buy the next piece of junk to fill the hole. Hello?
No, I'm just a bit depressed. I think you're partially right. Listen, we're going to move on to more positive things, okay? We're going to talk about Rock Chorus. We are finally going to talk about Rock Chorus. We will let everyone know when it is, where it is, how they can get involved, and what it means to you very shortly on the JVS show with me, Tim Wheeler.
Now, programmes will be coming live from hospitals across the region. 24 hours in A&E, Wednesday the 5th of October.
BBC Three Counties Radio.
You're listening to the JVS show. I'm Tim Wheeler, sitting in for Jonathan, and I'm having a wonderful time here in the studio with producer Charles Foskett. He's a music producer from Dunstable, and last Christmas Eve he was diagnosed with bowel cancer at the Luton and Dunstable Hospital. It's something that's changed his life. He was always a very healthy man. He was a vegetarian. He never predicted or felt anything was going to go wrong with his health. It was a very sudden thing that happened, a very shocking thing. But since then, Charles has used his position as a successful music producer to give something back by helping to create Rock Chorus. And Charles is just joining me back in the studio. Charles, I was going to let you get away with that, but quite frankly, I'm not prepared to. You're the first guest I've ever interviewed on this programme who has seen an opportunity to have 1 minute 20 of a trail for this radio station. You've run to the toilet. You were very quick. I'll let you get your breath back. Well, I'm not going to let you get your breath back because we've talked through your briefly about your career, and you've worked with some fantastic people, and you are now in a position where you're giving back. You want to focus your life on other people.
Yes.
Tell us about Rock Chorus, what it actually is. It's a local group.
Rock Chorus is our local community choir, not to be confused with the big multi-million pound karaoke machine of a similar name. But we started up 2 years ago. We have 8 choirs. We go out every couple of weeks and we do concerts. And all the concerts are charity based, so we are giving something back all the time. And we just sing out anywhere and everywhere. We did Relay for Life last week down in where was it? Stockwell Park.
You're flying all over the shop.
Well, flying all over the shop, yeah, like buzzy bees. But I just thought when I came out of the Cobham Clinic, I spent 8 days in the Cobham Clinic, which is the posh end of the hospital. I just thought I want to give them something back, and I just said, can I give the girls something, before I leave? And they went, no, you can't do that. I said, what do you mean you can't? I said, I'd just like to give them something. No, you can't do that. Buy them a box of biscuits, somebody said, and I went, biscuits? So anyway, my wife came in with a bag and a card and a box of chocolates and a box of biscuits, and I just said, okay, I've got an idea. We'll get Rock Chorus together and we'll come and perform a gig for you in the hospital social club. And then very quickly it dawned on me we probably wouldn't get half of them in have all signed up to do the gig. So I thought, well, okay, we'll do the gig properly. So I got the Luton and the Dunstable Conference Centre, which is the old Art Deco cinema on High Street North, which belongs to the community church, which is a beautifully refurbished space, and we'll do it there. And I just thought, oh, okay, we'll do it there. I'll do this properly. I'll drag some old buddies in. And,
well, you've dragged some big names along.
Well, a lot of them weren't. You know, they're on tour. Some of them are like everywhere over the world. I mean, the first person I yelled at was Randy Bachman from Bachman Overdrive, who we've been mates with him, Neil Young, and all that crowd for years, and we've written a lot together. And of course, he's on tour, but he's filming, and we're getting a lot of people to actually film clips, which is all on the Sing It Back website. But I thought we'll make this new platform for Rock Chorus to sing from. So we're giving something back. We'll call it Sing It Back. So Sing It Back is our online charity platform. It's not a charity. It's just our music platform for giving it back, really. So this is the first Sing It Back, which is Saturday the 15th of October at the Dunstable Conference Centre, and we've got Mungo Jerry.
That was Mungo Jerry.
Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm fine. Having a quiet moment. That's Mungo Jerry. It was Mungo Jerry. No, he didn't. It went.
No, it was definitely. I've sat at dinner with him, and
phone lines are open. 08459. Was it a or a shoo? So you sat at dinner with him. So
yeah,
I think you probably
he
know
showed
more
me
than me.
Exactly that it went, not boo. Anyway, yeah, Alvin Stardust, got Alvin on board, who is actually a great singer. I mean, a lot of people think back, oh, Alvin, there's a glam rock thing, this guy with a quiff and a glove and all that beep. But he sent me a clip over of him performing Mercy, the Duffy song.
Yeah, I do.
He knocks spots off any other version. Oh, and great! I look forward to working with them. Voices with Soul, who are the local girls who did won the X Factor years ago.
Yep.
3 local.
You've let them in.
3 local Aretha Franklins. Osabisa, the godfathers of British Ghanaian world music.
I've heard of them.
Yeah,
they might have done something on Jules Holland at some point.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. I mean, they're kind of like the British African Buena Vista Social Club, if you like, these days.
Yep.
Great, and we've got Tight Fit, the 80s pop
lovely
thing. So I'm planning. Oh, how can I sort of work this creatively? So I'm going to have Tight Fit doing The Lion Sleeps Tonight with the choir behind them, rock chorus doing a wee mow it, and all that.
I think you should get me down there.
Well, come down, yeah.
I want to be on stage.
Yeah, as long as you wear a T-shirt and keep your mouth shut, you'll be all right.
Look, we've got to bring this to a close, but let everyone know when this concert is and how they can buy tickets.
Saturday, the 15th of October, which is not next Saturday, but the following Saturday. The tickets are available from the Luton and Dunstable Funding Department. The number is 01582 718 043. I'll repeat that, 01582 718 043, or you can get in touch with us via the website.
You can give us a call as well here. We can pass the details on. All the proceeds are going to the L&D's Macmillan Cancer Unit. And, well, Charles, thank you so much for coming in and talking to us about your career and your life. And I know you've still got a way to go in terms of beating bowel cancer.
Well, no, up till now, I've beat it. There's no cancer left in my system. I was completely amazed at the operation. I thought I'd kind of be, having sort of flat irons banged on my chest and everybody's in stand back and he's gone, But it's gone. I had my first CT scan, 6-month checkup, and I'm normal. Well, kind of. My sense of humour isn't, but...
Yeah, you're not normal. But listen, I hope you continue to be very healthy.
Thank you very much, Andy.
And we will stay in touch, and I hope the concert is a huge success. In the meanwhile, you're listening to the JVS show. I'm Tim Wheeler. Coming up in the next hour, it's time to tackle all your consumer problems. Thanks again to Charles Foskett.